Hi, I'm Dima Sharif.
And I'm Sandra Boros.
I'm the founder of DS Consulting Club and the Grow Pro Shop.
And I'm the founder of Sandy's Kitchen.
And this is From Scratch to Success. We build a business, and a business is all about money. We don't build a business for any other reason. If you think you're building a business for another reason other than profitability, then you're misguiding yourself. Business is all about profitability. If you are running any kind of business that's not generating money, that's not profitable, something is really, really, really wrong, and we need to take a look at the drawing board and figure out what is wrong. If it's not fixable for any reason, then it's better closed than to continue running, because that business is a depletion for you. We build a business because we want to sell products, yes, and we're passionate about these products that we create, but the end game, the bottom line, is to be profitable.
Yeah.
We cannot be profitable if we're not considering our cost, if we're pricing right, if we're not considering that we are in fact making a profit. One of the things that I find really, really confusing is when I used to go to the markets at Moone Days, and the customer would say, "Oh, but it's expensive," and then you'd explain to her that we're actually making this product from the farmer next door, so go check the price of the kg. And you know, the farmers, because we used to deal with farmers, they wouldn't give you a special price for bulk purchases. For them, if it's 1 kilo or 500 kilos, you're buying at the price of per kilo. And so I tell them, go check with them what's the price, and then you'll see why. It's organic, it's local, it's actually made out of that produce. And so it's not really expensive. But here's the thing. Sometimes the customer doesn't take into account that you are there for profit. You're not there because you felt like, okay, let me wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and set up a table and stand all day. And end of the day, business people understand that this is about profitability. Here's the thing. Most entrepreneurs and small business owners price according to what feels right or to what the customer will accept. It is not like that. First and foremost, it is based in cost. What is the cost? And then also based on profit. The part that you can play with is the profit margin, the percentage that you take as profit. But you cannot play with the cost part. And so pricing, costing, profitability is it's detrimental for your business. Sandra, tell me your experience.
Detrimental is bad. The word detrimental.
Yeah, detrimental. It could take your business down if you don't do it right.
But do you mean it's bad, or do you mean it's important?
It's important, but it is the one factor.
Could be detrimental,
that,
you're saying. Okay, yeah. Yes, it could be. You know, when you were talking, you reminded me of back in the day where I used to make cakes, and where you would give a customer the price of a cake, and they'd come back and say, "Oh my God, that's too expensive, like, what do you think?" And then the running joke was, when everybody would order a cake, you would send them bags of flour and chocolate and butter and say, "You know what? If this is what you're willing to pay, go make your own cake."
Yeah.
And this is it. You have to price, but there is a sweet spot. You price according to market, according to your costs, to make enough profit that you deem good for your company, but also what the customer perceives as fair.
Right.
Because that's a big thing.
Right.
Because you want the customer to feel that I got this, but guess what? It's worth it.
Right.
Like when you get a really nice handbag and you pay a lot for it, and you don't think it's too expensive. You're like,
yeah,
for me, this is worth it.
Yeah.
So it also has to be worth it to the customer.
Yeah.
In their eyes.
Yeah, you see. So because let's not mix between cost calculation, profitability, and pricing. Pricing, yes, agreed, 100%. It's a strategy. It's a strategy that has to do with the overall strategy of the company, with the brand positioning of the company, with what are we actually offering the customer in terms of quality, in terms of even perception.
Yeah.
So that's pricing becomes your strategy. But before the strategy, the thing that we're discussing is we need to cover cost. And then not only cover cost, we need to be profitable in every situation.
But you cannot talk about profitability without mentioning your price, right?
Because it's all related.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So your price, can we say that prices are dependent on costs?
100%.
Is that correct? And profitability is dependent on pricing.
Yes.
Yes.
In a way. However, look, there's so many ways to do it. Yeah, you can actually.
What are the ways?
Yeah.
Let's say I'm a company. I'm starting today. I'm selling mugs. I don't want to talk about cookies right now. I'm selling mugs. How do I price my beautiful mug? I'm in love with it, but I don't know how to price it.
Now, let's first take a step back, okay? For example, the example of the bag that you brought, right? You would look and think, okay, so it's made out of this type of leather, right? And it has this kind of color.
Okay.
For example, this kind of leather is durable, is good, and so you're willing to pay more. Comes another company, it's made out of the same leather, same supplier, same everything, right? It could be less and it could be more. How does positioning fall in place here? Because one company is positioning itself as a premium, right, brand.
Yeah.
Another company could be positioning itself as high quality brand, however affordable.
Yeah.
How can that work? That works because a premium company, the cost is not just the cost of the good. There's a cost, for example, when a very, very high-end fashion brand decides to run a campaign for their new collection, the type of money poured into the campaign, right, is massive money, right?
Yeah.
So when we say we are premium, we have to carry it through in everything. In the marketing,
is where people fail.
Right. We carry it through in the marketing, we carry it through in the communication, we carry it through in the events, we carry it through in the social media presence, we carry it through, and this is cost. Nothing. Look, in business, nothing should ever come out of your pocket. It comes out from the company budgets, right? And so your marketing is part of your cost, your operation is part of your cost. Most of the time, consumers especially, they think in terms of cost of good. The cost of good is just one segment of the cost that you accumulate as a business. What most people forget, like for example, we go back to the market example, that customer is not thinking that in order for me to have this jar in the market, that they think of as it's just jam at the end of the day. The explanation I gave you in the first section of this discussion was the cost of good. But in order to produce this jar full of jam, we have employees, we have rent, we have logistics, we have
a warehouse, probably.
Many things that you're paying for, and it's cost. And that's where we also need to take that into account. So let's say you covered all your costs, your percentage in profit is also based on your positioning. So
are there guidelines for that percentage in profit?
Look, there are what we call general or standard industry procedures, okay, or standard industry rates for certain things. Yeah, and like for example, you usually hear the 60-40 cost versus profit. You hear numbers like that, 70-30, and so there are set ways, but it's more about your strategy. Who are you targeting, right? So if I am actually pricing my product very high, my percentage is also high, then we're talking about a slice of the pie that's much smaller.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, and then within that slice, who exactly are we targeting? So you see, it is all in a way related. Cost calculation, pricing strategy is one, I think, of the most strategic decisions you can do as a business. And you have to take so many things into account. It can't be a decision based on, is it acceptable? Does it sit right with me? Because what sits right with you, by the way, it doesn't necessarily sit right with so many people out there.
But I don't think people go through such an extensive exercise. I didn't.
Yes. Yes.
When you launch a product.
Yeah.
I feel like what you said now, that I feel right, does it feel right, is something
mainly
is a big part of the exercise.
Yeah.
Like, but for example, I do think that it's worth reevaluating your prices.
Yeah.
So to see, like, with today's current costs, do my prices still
yes, you have to keep,
are they still relevant? Are they still correct? Do I still keep the same profit margin? So
I'll give you an example. In Mune, when COVID hit, like, everything was soaring because, shipping had a problem, the packaging had a problem, everything, and also businesses are suffering, and the sales is suffering. And the one good thing about a good pricing strategy is, at times like this, when you want to reach out to your community and be able to support, because at times like this, it's all about your customer service. You're there for them, you're supporting the community, whatever you guys want. We were one of the very few companies operating during COVID, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and we wanted to make sure to actually help people, not just by selling them our products. We used to also pick up their deliveries for them because they can't come out of their homes. And that, of course, is nice from the community perspective. From the business perspective, that's cost at the end of the day, right? But we were able to do it because the strategy of pricing from the beginning was done right? And so we had a little bit of leeway that we could give more and still not lose, but at the same time, just in our profit margin, the profit was going to be a little bit less, and that will be your contribution to the community. But even in your contribution to community, a business should never lose. It has to be from your profit margin. And so when it comes to creating your price, there is a number. That number is untouchable, and that's your cost. And that cost is not just the cost of producing this good. It's the cost of operation, the cost of business, plus the cost of good.
Yeah.
Right? That number you don't touch. Now, the percentage, that's based in your brand strategy, and then also based on your business growth and the plans that you have for the future. And so, for example, let me give you an example. A lot of small business owners don't think of this part, which is called cash reserve. Cash reserve for companies is very important to be able to financially manage, because days come when something happens. For example, COVID happens, everything changes, and you need to be able to operate on the cash within the company, even though no sales is taking place. We were lucky to continue to operate. Some businesses could not operate.
But that's why COVID changed the world. So
Right.
many, like half the businesses worldwide closed because they did not have that extra margin.
Right. And part of the resilience of the company is cash reserve gives a company resilience to circumstances, to things changing and shifting, to going through a crisis, for example. And that's something that a lot of people don't take into account. Okay, that cash reserve.
It's a luxury. I feel like it's a luxury. Not everybody has the luxury.
But
to
see,
have
that's
a
what
cash
I was
reserve.
just about to say. No, it's not a luxury. It is part of the profit percentage. Profit. And that takes me to another point. Another point is you should never cash out from your company. You never cash out from your company at any given point. Okay, so this month I'm cashing out 50,000. Next month I'm cashing out 100,000. Next month 10,000.
Yay.
It's not moody like this.
Yeah.
Cashing out, there's a time. It depends again how you've planned your company. It's either end of the year, there is the profit cash out that you cash out, but you don't cash out all the profit. See, that's why the profit deciding the percentage is not just, I want to add 60 on top. It's not like that. It's how much are we keeping in reserve every year, every month, however way your finances are set up. Also, it's about the dividends, if you have any partners, everybody's share of everything. So what I want to say is, at the end of the day, pricing is not moody. And that takes me to the most important part.
Tell us.
Nothing about business is moody. Nothing about business is emotional. Nothing about business is personal. Everything about business is about profit and loss. 1, 2, 3s, no ABCs.
Numbers, logic, profit, loss.
Yes. It has nothing to do with how I feel about anything. The minute you make a decision based in how you feel, you're taking a huge risk.
Yeah.
Because what you feel it's your own feeling. Could be right, could be wrong.
Yeah.
The numbers don't lie.
So if you're an entrepreneur or you want to be one and you're pricing because it feels okay, then you're probably doing it wrong. So I suggest you get in touch with Dima.
We can never cover a full topic such as pricing 100% in a small podcast, like this. There's so much that we are talking about. We're giving you nuggets, tasters of what we do, and more episodes will be coming your way with more topics, so don't miss them. And if you really want to go in depth and learn the ins and outs, make sure to get in touch with us, follow us, and also book some coaching sessions, or just get in touch with us. We love nothing more than talking to you about your business.